today for our drop-in class, I was trying to figure out what we would talk about. We have talked about shame, we've talked about anger, we've talked about fear, and then I thought we'd talk about something kind of fun today. So we're going to talk about dreams. And I just wanted to say that I love digging into dreams. And I love it because I believe it is one of the languages of the heart that God has given to us. I believe that God speaks to us in many different languages. He speaks to us through nature. He speaks to us obviously through the word. That should be first. He speaks to us through nature. He speaks to us through other people. He will speak to us audibly for those of us who are learning how to hear God's voice. But I think that dreams, and he speaks to us through pictures and emotions. And one of those picture languages of God is dreams. Okay. So dreams is a very biblical way of hearing from God. If you go into the Bible, you will see that 1/3 of the Bible talks about dreams and visions. And so you say, well, what's the difference between dreams and visions? Well, dreams are what we have at night when we're sleeping, and visions are what we have if we're awake. Both of them are pictures that are on the eye, that light upon the imagination of our minds and of our hearts. So I've been dreaming for a very long time. I was a dreamer long before I understood how to understand dreams. And as many of you know, I went to a Prayers That Heal the Heart seminar where the Lord really started to speak to me and heal me from shame. And at that seminar, Mark was talking about hearing from God. And I will be teaching on hearing from God in July of 2023. For those of you who don't know and who are listening to this before July of 2023, just go to my website, sunodia.org, to find out what those dates are and to register. And he was talking about pictures being the language of the heart. And I'm a very left brain person. And if you know what a left brain person is, they're very linear in thinking, very rational, and things have to make sense and have to line up for you to understand them if you are a left brain person. Now, if you're a right brain person, you're more intuitive, you're more imaginative. Most artists and creatives are right brain. But God has created us with both sides of the brain. So we're not supposed to allow, just because we're predominantly one side of the brain, left brain or right brain, that's a natural inclination. But we are to make sure that we develop the other sides of our brain. One of the things that I think about American, and not just American society, but Western society, is that there's a lot of emphasis on left brain teaching and learning. And so I believe that if you are naturally right brain and very intuitive and imaginative, you go to school and you're forced to think in a left brain way. You're forced to face life from a left brain point of view. And so I think you end up using both sides of your brain fairly well. However, if you are predominantly left brain, there are not that many incentives in the public school education, at least, that will cause you to want to develop your right brain, or, like you're going to have, 10 left brain courses and maybe one art course or one creative course. So you have to realize that there may be an imbalance and you're more left brain than right brain. So I realized this as I was listening to Mark talk about pictures. And I said to him, what can I do to develop my right brain? And he said, study your dreams. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. So he also pointed me to someone who at the time had written a great book called Dream Dreams. And I will, if you're watching this on YouTube, I will put in the comments a link to a page that I have with dream resources. If you're in my drop-in class, I will send you that link. But he wrote a book called Dream Dreams. His name is Steve Vitali. He wrote that with his wife, Diane. And Steve at the time was mentoring dreams, people learning how to understand their dreams. And so I entered into a mentoring relationship with him. And what I would do is I would send him a dream. He would send me back some questions about the dreams. I would send them back answers. We'd go back and forth for a while until I felt like I got the understanding of the dream and he felt like I had gotten the understanding of the dream. And so I was starting to learn a lot. Plus I read the book, and I did some workbooks on it, and and I started to read everything that I could read about dream interpretation from a Christian point of view. So at the time that I started doing this was back in 2003. There were actually not that many books on dreams, Christian dream interpretation, but now there are quite a few. So if you're interested in Christian dream interpretation, I have some books that I recommend, quite a few. But I started out with this Dream Dreams course. So he mentored me for a while, and I really believe that that has allowed me to be able to picture, to be able to use my imagination. And the more that I studied dreams, I felt like the more God spoke to me through my dreams. Now, what I would want you to understand is that I believe that God, because he has this dream language, he is longing for us to speak that dream language. And, you know, if you look in the Bible, the book of Daniel and so many other books, so many people were given dreams. And think about the power of all those dreams that were shared in the Bible. I'm just going to go through some scriptures that where dreams are mentioned as being very important. So in Genesis, the first Joseph, son of Jacob, saw his future in a dream. And actually, when he told his brothers and his father and mother the dream, it actually made the future happen. In other words, he told them, I'm going to rule over you. I've seen this in a dream. And so they got jealous and they threw him into a pit, and then they sold him into slavery. However, later on, there was a series of dreams that Pharaoh had. There was a series of dreams that he was in jail. And I'm not going to go through the whole story of Joseph. You can go back to Genesis and read it for yourself. But he was in jail, and there was the two men that were put in jail by Pharaoh, and each one had a different dream. And Joseph interpreted the dream. One died, one went back to serve with Pharaoh. And the one that went back to serve with Pharaoh was reminded only 2 years later that he knew someone who could interpret dreams when Pharaoh had these dreams that he was having that were very important for the future of Egypt, and actually for the future of Israel. And when Joseph was brought out of prison and interpreted these dreams, it saved not only Egypt, but it saved Israel. So that was a powerful result of having dreams. In Matthew 1 and 2, the second Joseph had no less than 5 dreams in which he received specific instructions surrounding the birth and the care of Jesus. In Daniel 2 and 4, there were several kings that were seeking the interpretation of dreams, and they knew that their dreams were significant for the kingdoms, and it was Daniel who gave them the true interpretation. So I mean, I'm not going to go through the whole list, but you can see in the Bible that people in Bible times really paid attention to dreams and understood that dreams were important. However, we in our Western times tend to think, well, it's just the pizza I ate, or, you know, something happened, and it's just not an important thing. It's just a dream. Now, when I hear that phrase, it's just a dream, I feel that it's very dishonoring to God, because I believe that God can really speak to us through dreams. Now, I will tell you that I dream a whole lot, and because I dream so much, it's really hard for me to spend a lot of time interpreting all of my dreams. I do write all of my dreams down, but I know I can get a sense of when this is a dream that I really need to pay attention to, pray about, seek the understanding, and see what God is trying to tell me through this dream. And there are all different kinds of dreams. And here's the thing. People will often say to me, well, I don't dream. And when they say to me, I don't dream, I say, yes, you dream, you just don't remember your dreams. That's a big difference, because if you didn't dream, you would probably have a nervous breakdown after a certain amount of time. There is research that has been done, secular research, that says that dreaming is actually very good for us, and it keeps us emotionally stable and even physically stable. So if you think you're not dreaming, You probably are. You're just not remembering your dreams. Now, there's a lot of ways that you can remember dreams, but I'm not going to teach about that right now. My whole point right now is that dreams are important, and dreams are things that you should pay attention to. I also want to point out that a lot of Christians think that we should not pay attention to dreams because it's just New Age stuff, or it's only because Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung and some of those people have embraced dreams, and we shouldn't embrace dreams. But of course, again, the biblical precedent is that dreams are important. All right. And another reason why we don't think dreams are important is because when was the last time you heard a sermon about a dream? And I don't mean somebody giving a sermon about Joseph having a dream. I'm talking about somebody giving a sermon saying that God actually speaks to you through your dreams. I don't remember ever hearing a sermon like that. So if you haven't, then you're in the majority of people. The last thing I want to say about dreams is that one of the times that I was journaling and talking to God, I felt like God said to me that when I honor my dreams, I'm honoring him. You know, it's kind of like if you travel to a foreign country and you're preparing to travel to there. And so you think, well, let me try to learn some of the language so that I can speak to the people of that country in their language. Now, when you get there, you might not speak the language very well, but I think that if you make that attempt to understand not just their culture, but their language, that they're going to feel very honored, and that you have you've thought of them in advance. And I think in the same way, God feels like we're honoring him when we pay attention to our dreams. And I feel like one of the things that God said to me is, I honor those who honor me. And so I'm just giving this brief teaching to encourage you to pay attention to your dreams, to start to understand and learn about dreams. Now, I have an online course that I've provided called The Divine Dream, and you can find that at sunodia.school.org. And if you have trouble finding it on that website, let me know, because we are actually migrating to a new platform, so there might be a little bit of a glitch. But this is an online teaching. In 2.5 hours, you can learn a lot about how to understand your dreams and how to interpret them. And so I would encourage you, if you want to do that, take my dream course and learn how to understand your dreams. Bye now.